Hey guys, welcome to Parkitect University. In this episode, I'm going to show you some curved path ideas that you can do in vanilla. I know that there's a path cover mod on the workshop, which is really great if you really want to get into the realistic stuff. But for beginner builders, if you want to try your hand in curved stuff, curved paths, you can do it in vanilla. And so there's actually only one way to do this, but there's a couple paths that benefit from it more than others. So we're going to first start off with this concrete one. This is right here off the top. This one's actually the easiest one to implement curved paths. So we're just going to go over here and just do a simple L-shaped corner. And then we're going to grab some borders. These are usually the big borders that you need to have. And then do a straight border. Where is it? There's the border. So you can already tell that there's our curve, and the problem is now to cover this corner and then fill this corner in. And to do that, I usually just take a corner roof, place that sucker down. That should be roughly the same color as the path. So here it is on the screen now. Here's the hex code, 979797, which is a good one. So I'll leave this up for a second. So that one's really close to this color. I've been experimenting on which ones are closer or not, but that's pretty close. I give it like 80% accuracy. So I do that, and then the next solution is now to cover up that corner of that path. So there's actually cylinders right here, colored green, very close to the grass color. I think they're sized at 0.51, and we're just going to stick them. Don't need to put as many as I'm doing. I'm kind of being too heavy on that, but just like that, and it should somewhat just disappear. It does help later to actually add some, let's say, some plants, bushes. So if I made these bushes about here and just kind of stuck them right here, kind of helps out suggest that this is a curved pathway. Now the only downside for doing this in your parts is that guests will clip here. They'll walk through this a little bit. So you actually can see that if I plop down a guest, or one of our test subjects. This is the entertainer. So you can tell he can get really close, but it just doesn't matter at this point. Now the second design of this, same with this, but it's with a normal path. This one gets a little bit more complicated. So we'll still do an L. We're going to do a brick here. We're going to grab our borders. Now here's the problem. When you come to do this, this doesn't look right. This doesn't help, and it's not the same color, and there's texture now, and I want texture. So the solution is actually stick another path here. And the guests will walk through this one, unless you find a way to block it with a fence, but then that pops up. So for the sake of aesthetics, we're going to keep it this way. So the solution before is to cover this up with these shapes. These are the 1.51 shapes. Put them there. This one could use a big one or a little one. We're going to use a big one because it's easier and takes less shapes. And this one's sitting at, I think, 1.63. Yeah, 1.63. It's going to fit right here. Make sure that doesn't clip through the border. Oh, I did a little bit. See, like I was just warning you about. And there you go. And now it's completely covered. So just imagine if this continued to stretch out longer, it looks something like this. So there you go, you got yourself a curved pathway, and the textures are all fitting, but then the problem is, like I stated before, someone can stand right there. I will take it because I like the aesthetic of it, and it looks pretty snazzy and looks completely unique versus a grid-based park. So there you go on doing curved paths for your park in vanilla. And now to show you what I've been working on for the last couple days. So I'm working on a new scenario, and this scenario is going to be designed after a zoo. And so the main storyline would be you were given opportunity to basically theme parkify the zoo, because the zoo lost all its animals through a, let's say, a scandal or something. I'm not necessarily sure on the details of my story yet, but this is Metro Zoo. This is the entrance I've made so far. There's a parking lot. I'm still working on like the outside, basically the environment. But you can see this is how I usually start a scenario, is I like build some of the infrastructure in. I have a diagonal freeway actually built right here, which is actually pretty cool. And then I have some sense of cityscape happening. I'm slowly working my way to it, but this is how I usually do a scenario and figure out my logistics and things like that. So again, I hope this episode helped you out with making some curved pathways, because I always find it fun to have curved pathways in your park. So all in all, this has been episode, I have no idea what episode we're on this Parkitect University. It's been a while, but hey. So if you like this episode, hit that like button. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can. There'll be a link in the description below somewhere. And we're still working on the campaign, which is good. And I'll probably maybe, if you guys want more Parkitect Universities, I'll probably pump out some more. But this one was just kind of in my forethought, because I'm going to use these curved pathways actually in this scenario. So keep an eye out for the scenario. They'll come on the workshop maybe in the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks from now, not really sure. So I will see you guys in the next episode of Parkitect University. Bye.